Hi everybody, Dan Illman here with the DRF Breeding Report, taking a closer look at a pedigree of one of the major Kentucky Derby contenders of 2022. Let's watch Morello just give a breakthrough performance in the Gotham last Saturday, going a one-turn mile at Aqueduct. His third lifetime start, he was bet like he couldn't lose, and he looked like a winner every step of the way, showing that nice tactical speed. He's shown that in 3 races, and it allows him to be placed wherever within the context of a race. In terms of the Gotham, it was right up close to the leader. He turned into the stretch under a very confident ride, and he drew away with the plum in the final eighth of a mile. 96 Beyer speed figure. That's legitimate. It was nice to see him do it at a mile. He had already won at 6. He had already won at 7. His next start is the toughest test. That will be the Wood Memorial, going a mile and an eighth. And we'll take a little bit of a look at his pedigree to see if it is indeed distance-oriented, not only for the 9 furlongs of the Wood Memorial, but for a race like the Kentucky Derby at a mile and a quarter. This horse went through the auction ring 3 times, sold for $140,000 as a weanling, $200,000 as a yearling, and for $250,000 as a May 2-year-old in training. So always very highly regarded. He is by Classic Empire, a bit of an underrated horse, considering some of the big names that have come through over the last 10 years or so. Let's watch Classic Empire complete his 2016 2-year-old championship campaign in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile at Santa Anita, going a mile and a 16th, and he earned a 102 Beyer speed figure, defeating 2 talented horses in Not This Time and Practical Joke. And of course, based on his campaign, he was the Winter Book favorite for the 2017 Kentucky Derby, and he had a pretty good campaign. He was 3rd in his seasonal debut in the Holy Bull, and he bounced right back to win the Arkansas Derby with a 94 Beyer speed figure. He went to Kentucky on the first Saturday in May. He did not have a very good trip. He finished a decent 4th. And in the Preakness, the final start of his career, he opened up a commanding lead in the stretch, only to be run down in the shadow of the wire in a heartbreaking loss to Cloud Computing. He was very precocious, a horse that could win at 4.5 furlongs and had the ability to win at a mile and an eighth, and gutted out to finish 2nd in the mile and 3/16 Preakness. He has the potential to be a very nice stallion. Now, the dam of Morello wasn't as accomplished. 1 for 25 lifetime in her career. The only victory came going 7 furlongs on a wet track. She's a half-sister to a horse named St. Bernadette, who was grade 2 placed going 2 turns on dirt. And the reason why I mentioned St. Bernadette is because she's the dam of Social Inclusion, a pretty important horse in his own right. Let's watch Social Inclusion run as the favorite in the Wood Memorial in 2014 behind Wicked Strong. This was only his 3rd lifetime start, and it came on the heels of a 110 Beyer speed figure performance in an allowance race at Gulfstream. This race was a decent enough 3rd. He would then run 3rd in the Preakness. He would then run 3rd in the Woody Stevens behind Bayern, a horse that we're pretty familiar with. He came back as a 4-year-old. He had an abbreviated campaign. His final start showcased his brilliance once again when he ran against overmatched non-winners of 2 other than allowance horses, and he won off the screen with a 106 Beyer. He was brilliant, and he had the ability to stretch that brilliance to middle distances. We look deeper in this pedigree, and there is more of a sprint middle distance vibe. The 2nd dam, a horse named Wedding Jitters, she was stakes placed going a mile and a 16th, and the 3rd dam, Classy Tricks, was a multiple stakes winner sprinting. So you look at the bottom of this pedigree, and you see a lot of middle distance ability. You see Classic Empire, and you see the versatility of a horse that might be able to get a classic type. Right now with Morello, I would say it's leaning middle distance, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if he stretches out to a mile and an eighth in the Wood Memorial, and even down the road to the Kentucky Derby. His performance is really what's going to matter with Morello, and we'll get that performance in the upcoming Wood Memorial. But he's trending the right way after that super victory in the Gotham.